We're going to have a look at some wildflowers today in this lovely little bit of English woodland, which I'm lucky enough to live near. So we'll start off with some of this wonderful green and very lacy white flower stuff, which is cow parsley, also known as Queen Anne's lace, which I think is rather a delicate name for a delicate flower. It's really, really beautiful. So we'll take a stroll along. We've got some wonderful trees here. These are ash, these two. They're quite tall, but where the canopy opens up a little bit more, we'll be able to show you just how tall some of these trees are. And these are just coming out into leaf, these ash trees. So draw around the corner. As you can see, masses and masses of green. I think it's wonderful. This time of year you can almost sort of see and hear it growing. It's fantastic. I've had various other bits and pieces coming out over the last few weeks that I should be able to show you. So we'll keep going around and go around this corner, and you see everywhere it's got petals over it. This particular lot is from a cherry tree which has finished flowering now. This is a wild cherry. You do actually get fruit on it, but boy are they sour. There's nothing you can do with it really. So got lots and lots of cow parsley everywhere, which I think is very, very pretty. We're starting to come into some blues here. We've got some bluebells. There's some more down further. We'll have a better look at them. These little guys are forget-me-nots. Got a few more. These trees are actually, although they don't fruit at the moment, they're not really old enough. These are damsons. So we pick those, make jam, or jelly rather, because they've got big stones in them. And also made damson gin one year, which was quite nice, if you like that sort of thing. Now down here we have a primrose. These are sort of quite late. They loads of them earlier on, but this is just sort of like the last of the bunch. Now that's a pretty one. The smell was lovely while they were in flower. And these other little yellow guys, again, they're just about finishing. These are celandines. I think they're wonderful because they're like little sunshines, and because the petals are shiny, they reflect the sun and really glow. They only come out in the sunshine, so they go to sleep at night. This is a yew. Got several of these around. They're looking a bit scruffy at the moment, but this is what used to make the famous English longbows from. I don't think you get much of a longbow out of that one, but nevertheless it's all interesting stuff. And this is plenty of petals on the ground again here. Now this one, this is coming to the end again, but this is a crabapple. We get quite a few little apples off this one. Crabapple jelly is one thing. Add it to with the blackberry and apple jam, all sorts like that. Oh, and the other year I made apple brandy with them, which was a bit of an interesting experience. Oh, and vodka, yeah, apple vodka. That was a wonderful colour. That's really lovely golden colour. So yeah, we've got some bigger trees coming now. They've got oaks. This is an oak. This is hearts of oak, English oak that they used to make masts of ships from. And that one's probably somewhere in the region of a couple of 100 years old. They live much, much longer than that. Good sturdy trees. Some of them are starting. That's one that's, as you can see when we get around here, that one's just starting to go. Good habitat for insects. Right at the top there's some holes where it's just starting to rot. Little holes for nuthatches, woodpeckers to nest in. So everything is used in a woodland. And talking of being used, this stuff that we've got underneath here, this is sticky weed. Now, I've never tried this, but evidently you can cook it and eat it like you would spinach. So, good demonstration of sticky weed. If you're ever walking through a woodland, you get this on your clothes and boy will it stick. It's got lots of little tiny hooks along the bottom edges of the leaves, which act a bit like Velcro really. So, yeah, and the dogs like to eat it, and the pigs, so they're welcome to it. You don't want that in your garden because it just spreads like wildfire. So we've got, that's another edible plant here. We've got a lot of this dotted around. This one, little star-shaped flowers here, this is wild garlic or ransoms. So again, edible if you like that sort of thing. Just there's plenty of it. So yeah, that is really, really garlicky. If you like garlic, you like that. But you can make pesto. A friend of mine is just trying to dry some for the winter. That'll be interesting. But pop it into stews, chop it up and put it into salads. So there's quite a few uses for something like that. So if you're going to pick anything like this, if you're out and about, do pick it from sort of over there rather than by the side of the path, because that's where the dogs pee on it, so you don't want any of that. Now, this was an interesting thing I noticed this morning. I don't know what this is. Well, in a sense I do know what it is. It's fungus, but I've never seen anything like this. So my husband's going to come in and take a nice photograph of that, and when we get home, I'm going to have a look and see if I can find out what it is. Now, this tree trunk has been dead for many, many years, and it came down in the storms back in February, just chopped it up. This has been wonderful for insects and that for many, many years, and we had birds nesting in it, again, nuthatches and great spotted woodpeckers. And now it's just going to sort of lie there for the wildlife to colonise until it just breaks down completely. But I will show you the cut bit because I think this is beautiful. So that was where all the various insects and things, making all those wonderful patterns in there. Also we have here, this is holly, various sorts of holly. I'm not sure whether this is a male or a female. You do need both. But this is, it's quite interesting to see things like that. Yeah, you see the berries, but you don't, maybe if you're not a country person, you don't realise that all these things have flowers before they have berries. Yeah. That's quite good. So we'll stroll on. Now we're coming into an area where we've got lots of bluebells. Gorgeous colour. Now these are English bluebells. I know this because the way they come up the stem and they just curve over to one, like you can see they just come up and go that way. These have a perfume. I can't smell it at the moment, but sort of first thing in the morning, especially if they've had a bit of dew or something on them, they smell very, very nice. There's some odd colours, some little pink ones about the place, and the odd white one here and there as well. This is one of my favourite seats. I like to sit here and just stay quiet and listen to the birds and what have you. We've got a nice big beech tree behind here, which in desperation, if it's raining, I sit underneath and I still get wet. There we go. So beech and bluebells, typical, go together. An old woodland will always be beech and bluebells, so that's nice. We've got smaller trees, as you can see, sort of round. So what happens here is if we lose a tree, and you do obviously, because what they do is they plant sort of at least 2 more so that it just keeps going. This is another big beech tree. It goes huge, goes right up. Now this is another pretty one. It's the nearest thing. I'm just trying to see if the nearest flowers are. Here we go. This is another dead nettle, and this is a variegated one. I've never seen any of these other than here. So again, we've got, if we can look into this, yeah, how delicate that is. And it's, as I say, it's very unusual. You do get pink ones in this variegated form, but the pink is just a stripe here. So we've got some of those, but so I don't know where this one came from, but it is unusual in as much as the variegation is around the leaf and not just a stripe. So that's a pretty thing, and it seems to like it here under the trees. And again, this is the only time it flowers this time of year, and then it just goes back to being a leafy thing. I love the colour of these beech leaves this time of year. They're just such a delicate green, and you get the light going through them this time of day, and they just glow. They're wonderful. Now we have yet another edible plant here. This is garlic mustard. Again, very pretty little white flower. And these taste like they say they do, quite hot, and definitely garlicky. Yeah, you just squash the leaf a little bit, then you can smell it. Salads, that sort of thing, very useful for that if you fancy a little bit of something different. Don't know whether it cooks or not, but it might well do. Don't see why it wouldn't. So we're coming into a little clearing here. Now you can really see the size of these trees, because you can go right up through and have a look. This one's another big beech. They turn beautiful colours in the autumn. This one's a horse chestnut. I'll try and see if I can see some flowers and lower down so that you can see how delicate and beautiful. Well, I can go over here. Let's have a look at this one. They're quite amazing when you look into them, all the little pinks and that. And this is where we get Conquerors from. So very happy to see the Conquerors. And the squirrels like to bury them, so we've got little chestnut trees going all over the place because they forget where they've left them. So that's another. These are quite fast growing, but we've still got some quite big ones. So some of these other ones are, this is another nice one that goes wonderful colour in the autumn. This is an Acer or a maple. See, again, we've got little flowers here, and this is where, oh, there's just some of them just starting there. You see the little fruits just on the ends there. So those are the ones you see spinning around like little helicopters. And underneath here, this is a dead nettle. Again, this is one of these flowers that you need to look into it to see just how pretty it is. Doesn't sting or anything, no problems with that with it. And that's a food plant for the small tortoiseshell butterfly, of which we have a few, although they are getting less and less, unfortunately. So we will continue around the edge of the clearing and see if we can. There's quite a few docks in that here. Very handy plant, the dock, although we don't really want them in the numbers. But if you ever get stung by a sting nettle, you go and find your dock leaf and you rub it on your hand or wherever, and it takes the sting out. So you usually find if you've got sting nettles, you've got docks nearby, because nature provides good stuff. So we've got a couple of massive chestnuts again. The clearing down there is clear because there was an even bigger one there which came down, must be 3-4 years ago now. So you can just see where they've planted a couple of new trees in there to replace it. Now we've got a nice big oak there. That one's split into 3 stalks. So I don't think we get a mast out of that, but nevertheless it's a nice big tree. And it's interesting because underneath it, it's only small, but it's a little ash tree. Now there's a rhyme, a country rhyme. It says, "Oak before ash, we're in for a splash. Ash before oak, we're in for a soak." So it looks as if we're in for a splash of rain this year rather than anything else. Let's hope it's not like a drought, as we do need the rain. Sheep and lamb in the field here, looking very content. Some of these lambs are coming up 3-4 weeks old now. They're very cute. I like them at this age. Hello, babies. Hello. Oh, and lambs, like all children, are inquisitive. All right, Mama. Yeah, it's only us. These mums are quite used to me, so I see them every day, so they're not too bothered. Yeah, it's all right. We're not going to hurt your babies. No. Make a fuss. Yeah, just have a sniff, just to check that. Yeah, I know what you're doing. Yeah, that one's yours. It's all right. He's yours. It's a little boy. It's handy that they mark them up. Red is little girls, boys are green this year. It does vary. So, anyway, as I was saying, rabbit hole. So, can't see down it very well. So, I don't know how Alice would get on if she fell down this one. But anyway, these will have little pink flowers on them because this is pink campion. And the hole itself is just right back under this bank. And the whole of this bank and the other side of the road is a great big rabbit warren. As I say, we don't see them very often, but they should be having babies soon, so we might see one of the two youngsters around the place. This is butterbur. It's great big massive leaf here. I'm going to be careful because that is a sting nettle there. These come up, they'll come up to, I suppose about that high. They have pink flowers on them. But they're called butterburs because that's what literally they used to wrap the butter in to keep it cool. They're lovely. And I'm told, although I've never tried this, that you can actually use it for loo paper if you're desperate and you're out in the country. So, there we go. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed our little stroll through the woodland today. It would be lovely, once this COVID thing is over, if you could come out and have a look through woodlands, any wild space really, even if it's just your park round the corner. But have a look at the trees, see what they're doing, have a look at all the undergrowth, etc. So, as I say, I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you'd like to write any comments below, that would be fantastic as well. So, thank you very much.